One of the main reasons for the British immigration in Valparaiso was its consolidation as the main port in the Pacific Ocean in 1840, and it became one of the essential distribution points for provisions to California during the Gold Rush in 1848 to 1855. It was in this period of time when the English immigration had its peak. Despite these reasons, the British people arrived in the city because they had the hope that eventually they could install their businesses without losing their customs and culture.
Since 1811, Valparaiso began to open its doors to free trade and along with it, the immigration of people from different countries. British immigration in particular occurred during 1840 and 1940, with the arrival of approximately 32,000 British citizens. In 1861, the Valparaiso community had increased by 11,000, and 7,900 of them lived in Valparaiso. The opening of the Panama and Suez Canal had as consequence the option of a new road to commerce with other countries. For that reason, the English people stopped arriving in the city and started going to New Zealand, Europe, Australia, and Santiago, looking for new places to establish their businesses. This phenomenon even increased during World War I, when approximately 30% of the British immigrants emigrated to Santiago or went back to Europe, but many of them returned to Chile after World War II.
The English were owners of plenty of businesses and control over the port's commerce. They founded important banks such as Banco Edwards and Banco de Londres.
The main business for the English consisted on importing and exporting goods, and they were practically the only participants in these kinds of affairs and eventually replaced the national merchant. The commerce that already existed in Valparaiso became stronger due to the immigration and exportation and became the main supplier for Peru, Bolivia, the north of Argentina, and later California, Australia, and the Salpeterine zone in the north of Chile. Moreover, thanks to the Italian, French, German, and British economic moves and shares, the Valparaiso port was the main point between Great Britain, the Eastern Pacific, and the Asian continent, becoming the commercial and financial capital of the country. Among the new companies, we have the first banks, railways, mining and industrial societies, insurance companies, and merchants. As a result of all the capital flow that was moving in the city, a merchant bourgeois emerged, where the English from the Serra Alegre were the ones who stood out.
The arrival of the British in Valparaiso affected also in terms of architecture and public works. An example of this can be the street pavimentation, the improvements in the public transport, and the creation of new parks and plazas. This was accomplished by investing money and digging in the hills in order to create flat ground, reasons why people started building their houses of 2 or 3 floors.
Even though Chile was completely different than Europe, the immigrants felt attracted to Valparaiso due to the fact that they could continue with their customs and maintain their essence. For example, the women continued buying their silk dresses, creams, and magazines imported directly from England. Their coexistence with the porteños didn't force them to adopt their national costumes. Nevertheless, the Chileans had some changes in their daily lifestyle. With the arrival of the immigrants, the Chileans had some changes in their daily lifestyle. Listening to conversations in English became commonplace, and tea time in the afternoons started being a daily ritual, changing the tradition of drinking mate. According to Francis Maitland, they, English, demonstrated a kind of insular superiority and generally took pride in being deeply ignorant about the people, the country, and their language. Sports was something that the British started to infuse the Chileans, especially the children in schools, with their sports such as tennis, golf, rugby, and hockey. The most popular of them all was football, and thus the Club de Deportes Valparaiso Wanderers was born. In 1969, the English citizens created the Valparaiso Spring Meeting, a place where they practiced equestrian sports, and in 1882 it changed its name to Valparaiso Sporting Club, incorporating various sports, but equestrian was still its main attraction.
It could be said that the English nationals and the Chileans did not coexist much, in spite of the fact they all lived in Valparaiso. The British had residences in Cerro Alegre and Cerro Concepcion, unless they married a Chilean. In that case, they could either live in the Chilean or the British neighborhoods. The immigrants opened in the city shops with their products and financial houses, and because of that, they ended up controlling the commerce in Chile.
The Anglican Church of St. Paul. It's located in Cerro Concepcion in Valparaiso and was declared historical monument in July 19 in 1979. It's emblematic since the year 1837 when more and more Anglicans began to arrive in order to serve the great British community that lived in Valparaiso. In 1857, despite the ban on non-Catholic public worship, the economically powerful Consul William Rouse decided to build an Anglican church, so he began raising funds to buy land. Joshua Warrington, one of the wealthiest Englishmen in Valparaiso, put on sale Cerro Concepcion, so that this would be the land occupied by the church, later attended by Germans and English. The rejection provoked by the initiative of this construction in some Catholic group caused that, although they could not stop the construction, they had influence in the structure and architecture, leaving it simple without a tower and with a small lateral entrance. Since 2016, it is the first Anglican cathedral in the country, declared as cathedral by the Anglican Church of Chile.
Arco Británico. Location, Avenida Brasil, Valparaiso. Inaugurated 1911. Why is it emblematic? It was donated the year 1910 by the British because of the centenary of independence of Chile, although it was built by a French architect named Alfredo Azancón. It is covered with 4 medals of English heroes participators in the Independence War and has the shield of Chile and the United Kingdom. Rumor has it that it also represents the participation of the English in the country during the 19th century, both in social activity and in foundations and creations of companies.
Joshua Warrington, 1782-1876, was a British engineer and businessman that arrived to Chile to expand his business. He was considered one of the main responsible for Valparaiso's transformation, investing in the construction of railways from Valparaiso to Santiago, and founded the firefighter company. He also helped the state of Chile with the Restorer campaign of Peru in 1839, and also some nursing homes and hospitals.
Maria Graham, 1785 to 1842, was born on the 19th of July of 1785 in Cockermouth, England. After getting married to the captain of the English Royal Navy, Thomas Graham, they traveled to Latin America, where he died and was buried in Valparaiso port. Due to that, Maria decided to stay in the Chilean coast. While being in Chile, she had multiple jobs. She was a cartoonist, painter, draftsman, and historian. She visited many parts of the country, where she dedicated her time to observe people, homes, landscapes, clothes, and costumes. With all the information she collected, she wrote the book Journal of a Residence in Chile, which was fundamental for the historians as a source of information regarding the independence of Chile.